Are you looking for the best cameras for portraits? In this video we will look at some of the best cameras for portraits. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Sony Alpha 7 IV. Though it might be overkill for some, the Sony Alpha 7 IV is the best camera for portraits we've tested. With a high-resolution full-frame sensor, it's a great choice for high-quality portrait work, whether you're a pro or simply sharing your work online. The camera also has a fantastic autofocus system with sophisticated IAF for precise focusing. While a quick and responsive autofocus isn't as absolutely essential for portraits as it is for, say, sports photography, knowing you don't have to worry about focus frees you up to engage more with your subjects, which is a big plus. Beyond that, the camera's in-body image stabilization (IBIS) system can help you get clear handheld shots at slower shutter speeds and less controlled lighting conditions. Sony's E-mount ecosystem includes a wide range of native and third-party lenses well suited for portrait work. The Sony FE85mm f/1.8, for instance, offers a lot of value if you're looking at native lenses, but don't overlook third-party options from manufacturers like Tamron or Sigma. If you're strictly shooting portraits and don't need the advanced video features of the Alpha 7 IV, the Sony Alpha 7 III is still an excellent choice that'll cost you less, although it uses a lower resolution sensor and an older autofocus system. Number 2. Fujifilm X-H2. The Fujifilm X-H2 is one of the highest resolution APS-C cameras on the market, with a whopping 40.2 megapixel sensor. It can capture incredibly detailed photos and gives you plenty of leeway to crop and reframe your portraits if needed. It also has a highly sturdy build, with a body and handling geared toward enthusiasts and pros, along with an exceptionally high-res EVF. If you prefer a more portable body, the Fujifilm X-T5 uses the exact same sensor and has a more strictly photography-oriented design. It's even a little cheaper but lacks some of the X-H2's video features. Although full-frame cameras have an advantage when it comes to bokeh, it's still possible to get creamy backgrounds in shallow depths of field with an APS-C sensor if you use the right lens. It helps that Fujifilm offers some very fast XF mount lenses that are ideal for this. The XF56mm f1.2R, for instance, can open up very wide to get a shallower depth of field with a focal length that's well suited to portrait work on an APS-C sensor. That said, you might be all set with a more affordable third-party option like the excellent Sigma 56mm f/1.4 DCDN, which is one of the best value portrait lenses you can get for an APS-C body. Number 3. Nikon Z5. The Nikon Z5 is a great mid-range option if you want a full-frame camera at a lower price point. This is a steal of a camera, especially if you don't do any video work on the side. It isn't as versatile for other kinds of photography because of its slow max burst rate, but its high-resolution sensor captures stunning image quality. Nikon's ergonomics are also fantastic, and the camera feels sturdy and well-built, with a high-res EVF and tilting screen. Battery life is also great for a mirrorless model. Overall, it's an excellent camera that offers a lot of value for portrait photographers. Nikon's Z mount lenses are excellent, though lens selection is more limited than what's available for Sony models like the Sony Alpha 7 IV above or the Sony Alpha 6400 below. Still, Nikon's S line, in particular, offers some incredibly high-quality glass. Though expensive, the Nikon Z 85mm f/1.8s is one of the best options for portraits if you want to go all in on the Z system. Number 4. Canon EOS R10. The Canon EOS R10 is one of the best value APS-C cameras around. It's a beginner-friendly entry-level option with a highly intuitive user interface and great ergonomics. It's fairly lightweight and portable, too, making it easy to carry around throughout longer shooting sessions. Plus, it uses Canon's highly sophisticated and reliable autofocus system, which includes more precise eye detection and tracking. While this is a very well-rounded mirrorless camera for the price, lens options are still limited for Canon's RF mount, with very few third-party options. That said, you can adapt older EF or EFS lenses perfectly using Canon's EF EOS or adapter, though it comes at an additional cost and will add a bit of bulk. Still, it'll considerably open up your lens options, allowing you to use portrait lenses like the Canon EF 50mm f/1.8, which offers a ton of value for its price. Number 5. Sony α6400. If you're on a tighter budget, the Sony α6400 is a great mirrorless option to get you started in portrait photography. It's a portable crop sensor camera with a sturdy build and a high-resolution APS-C sensor. Its ergonomics pale compared to the Canon EOS R10 or Nikon Z5, but some people may find it's worth the trade-off for added portability. It also has a lot of customization options to tailor the controls to your preferences. On top of that, you have Sony's ever-reliable autofocus system with precise IAF, making this a versatile camera that won't break the bank. As a bonus, this camera uses the same lens mount as the higher-end Sony α7 IV, so you'll have access to the same stable of great lens options, including full-frame FE and crop sensor E lenses. That also makes it easier to upgrade to a full-frame Sony body down the line if you choose to do so. The kit lens is fine to cut your teeth on if you're just starting, but a lens like the Sigma 56mm f/1.4 DCDN is one of many excellent third-party options for portraits if you outgrow the kit lens. Number 6. Canon EOS Rebel T7/2000D. If you're looking for a cheap dedicated camera for portraits, the Canon EOS Rebel T7/2000D is about as cheap as it gets, short of buying a camera secondhand. It's an incredibly simple DSLR with an easy-to-use interface and minimal physical controls. You won't find extra features like weather sealing or even a tilting screen here, but it has a solid 24-megapixel sensor that, paired with a decent lens, can get you great results on a budget. There are also some relatively affordable lens options for the EFS mount, including the Canon EF 50mm f/1.8, one of the best bang-for-your-buck lenses out there. If you want to stretch your budget a little, the slightly pricier Canon EOS Rebel SL3/250D or Nikon D3500 are great options with better processors and sturdier builds. The D3500 even has a built-in guide mode to walk novice users through the basics of photography. But if you're on a very tight budget or leave more room in your budget for lenses, the T7 is an accessible camera that makes for a good entryway into proper photography.